So in the last class, we were trying to represent UML diagrams, and then we have said that we will be creating this UML diagrams in a traditional stuff. Okay, but since we are learning anyway object-oriented analysis and design, I thought that including this would be better for your careers. So that's the reason why I'm trying to speak about it. Okay, so let us try to have a small introduction on UML in today's class, and let us try to understand. I'll not be able to speak about all the diagrams, but as a basic developer, you need to know certain diagrams. At least I'll be speaking about those. All right. So let us try to understand about what those diagrams are and how to draw them. All right. UML. Right. UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. This is used for basically representing diagrams in object-oriented analysis and design. Okay. So when we basically discuss about UML diagrams, right? So we have to discuss about structural notations and then the behavioral notations, right? So we will initially get started with basic modeling types. What are the basic modeling types and what are the different kinds of diagrams which we have, right? So in UML, we have two basic kinds of modeling. Okay, the first one is called as structural modeling, right? Okay, it is only one L. Sorry, man, my bad. Right, one is structural modeling, the other one is behavioral modeling. Right. Okay, so let us basically start with structural modeling. What is this structural modeling all about, and why do we basically use this structural modeling? All right. So it represents the framework for the system. Okay, that is in place. Okay, and basically, right, and it captures static features of the design. So this is what structural modeling is all about. Okay, right. Fine, guys. So what are the different diagrams that fall under the category, right? The following diagrams follow. The following are popular diagrams. We'll not be learning all of them, but when time comes, I would recommend you guys learn it because this is beyond the scope of whatever we are discussing. Class diagrams. Okay. Class diagrams. Object diagram. Right. You have something called as deployment diagrams. Right. You have package diagrams. We might not know all of these terms at this moment, so don't even worry about it, right? Component diagrams, right? And there is one more modeling, which is behavioral modeling. Okay, so what behavioral modeling does is it captures interactions in the system. It captures interactions in the system, right? So the following diagrams are part of behavioral modeling. The first one is activity diagram, and then there is something called as interaction diagram, and then there is something called as use case diagram. Okay, so am I clear on this? So static features of the application and interaction of the application, these are the basic stuffs. Okay, now let us try to understand the basic notations of the UML, right? So the first notation which I want to speak about is class notation. Okay, right. So notations. Okay, for that, as I said, I have asked you in the last class itself, saying that I want you to basically create this visual paradigm. I would try to tell that I want to create a new, and I want to create a, where is class diagram? Yeah, class diagram. Okay, build from scratch or a template. New class diagram. Okay, this is the easier way. All right, fine. Now you drag and drop the stuff over here, and here let us basically create a class. What is the class which you have used in our last class? Let us use the same thing. Okay, so shall I create a class called as library item? Yeah, so I'm creating a class called as library item. And if you basically look into this, are you saying add attributes and add operations? Let me add an attribute. Okay, so the attribute is, what is the attribute? Let me try to use this. Okay, the attribute which we have tried to add is title. Okay, and now add an attribute. Okay, what is the other thing? A library ID. Okay, right. What is the attribute which we have added? Okay, other stuff is category. Okay, category. Right. So in this, I am basically using attributes. Attributes are nothing but members. Okay, let me zoom this image. Okay, I'll add the whole stuff and then I'll explain what that plus and minus are. What that plus and minus are. Okay, right. So bank is something which I've asked you guys to do. Not, it was not my job, right? Fine. And in library operation, what is that we were trying to write? We were trying to write an operation which was called as locate. Okay, right. Now let me take a screen capture and let me try to describe what this is. Let me copy this into MS Paint. Okay, right. So this is a library item. Okay, so whatever you are seeing over here, whatever you are seeing over here, 1 minute guys, just 1 minute. Okay, right. So this is your okay name of the class. Okay, name of class, right? And these are attributes. Okay, attributes are, you can call them as members, right? And here, whenever you see plus, whenever you see plus, plus means it is available, everyone can access that. It is basically called as public. Minus stands for private. Okay, only the members of this class will be able to see that. Okay, so don't worry about plus and minus in the case of Linux. In the case of Python, in Python the story is slightly different. Okay, right. So these are operations. Operations are nothing but your methods. These are operations. Okay, or we also call them as methods. Am I clear on this, sir? Right, this is a basic class notation. Let me save this image. Okay, right. So your object diagram also will be the same thing. Okay, but in object diagrams generally the names will be underscored. So if in the library item the name of the object will be underscored, right? So let us worry about class diagrams first, and then we will basically get into the other notations. So in classes, the other kind of stuff what we have is we have relationships. We have relationships, and when we speak of relationships, the first relationship that comes into play is inheritance. So now, are you seeing class? Are you seeing there is something called as generalization, usage, association, okay, dependency, right? Abstraction, okay, right? Collaboration, package diagrams, right? Note, anchor, and all of this stuff, right? Let me not worry about it. Let us go with this image and let us try to add the other stuff. I'll be adding one more class, which I'll be calling as book. And in the book class, I'll be basically adding an attribute. Every book has, I'm using plus ISBN, and let me add one more operation. Oh, I'll not have any operations. Okay, so, and let me add one more attribute, which is basically author. Right, now apart from book, what is that we'll have? We have a magazine. So I'm adding one more class. I'm adding one more class. This is magazine, right? So for the magazine, what is that we have added? We have added volume and issue. So let me add an attribute which is volume, and let me add one more attribute which is less issue. Okay, and then we have said that DVD and CD. So let me add DVDs. Okay, let me move it to the center. Right, this is DVD. In the DVD, we have said that we will be having actors, directors, and genre. Right? Let me add all of their attributes. Okay, so actors and genre. Right, I'll not be adding everything, so that's fine. Okay, let me add one more stuff over here, which is CD, and in CD we will have basically artists. Add attribute plus artists. Now for book, we will have kind of a relationship. Okay, Sorry. Which is this. And then are you saying generalization? Okay. And are you saying abstraction? Let me use abstraction. Okay. And let me look at the same thing. Sorry. I think I messed it up. Okay. This is association. This is aggregation. We are not doing composition. We are not doing containment. We are basically doing generalization, right? So what is generalization, right? Okay. So generalization is nothing but your inheritance. So I'll be using generalization. Right. Generalization. And then from here to here, again, generalization. From here to, no, that is a reverse direction. Sorry. I have to bring the relation from here itself. Okay. I'm unable to see the, let me basically do this. Okay. Again, generalization. Again, where is generalization? Let me slide it a little bit. Okay. Every tool has a different way of drawing it. Okay. So generalization. But if you want it to be better, you can bring it. Let me basically bring it to here so that yeah, well, this tool cannot do better than this. Okay. So I can't help it out. Or let me remove CD for some time. Okay. But I think you got the concept, right? So this defines inheritance. This defines inheritance, right? Abstraction is we have to discuss about interface. We have not gone there yet. Okay. So now what does this mean is what this book has ISBN, author, plus all the capabilities of library item. So it has a method called as locate, it has category, it has library ID, and it has title. Okay. So title is a private stuff, but in the case of Python, I am not worried about private and public at this moment because we have not discussed about it yet. Am I clear on this, sir? Yeah. Now, what is the other thing which you have said? We have said that there will be shelf. So let me go ahead and add a class called as shelf. Right? In shelf, I have said that there will be attributes like library items, numbers, and shelf will have an ID. So let me add an operation. Okay. Operation will be add item. Okay. And let me add one more operation, which is plus remove underscore item. Okay. Right. So let me add attribute now. Okay. So plus library items. Okay. And then it will have one ID. I'm adding only one more stuff. Add attribute, which is plus ID. Now, between shelf and library item, we have some kind of a relationship, right? So shelf and this, we have a relationship. What is that relationship? It is composition or right? Let me remove this. Between shelf and here, I have relationship. Let us just have a look at it. Okay. So association, we have an association. But what is the kind of association which we have? Here we will have 1. And here we will have many. Yes or no? One shelf will have many library items. Do you agree with me on that? One shelf will have many library items. Right? And then at the last, we have said that there will be something called as catalog. So let me add a class diagram which is called as catalog. Okay. And catalog will basically have only one operation, which is search. So generally operations you should be starting with capital letter, but that should be fine. Okay. From here to here, I have some sort of relationship. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me basically drag it out. Okay. So here, is it association? Is it aggregation? Is it composition? Is it containment? Right? Generalization? It is just a usage. Okay. So whenever you are defining relationships, you have to basically define something like this. Okay. Why do you keep items in add item as brace? See, operations will have braces. Your methods will have braces. Okay. Your characteristics will have braces. Your behavior will have braces. That's the basic stuff. Now, are you looking at this image? Now I can file, save this image, right? So I can basically save this image as a library item. Okay, and I can save this on my device. Okay. See, catalog doesn't have any kind of relationship. It just uses library items. Yes or no? Catalog has an operation which basically gives you the stuff. So it is just using it. It is not even contained, because as a part of that operation, you basically get this. So can you draw a basic UML diagram in this tool? Because in here it is very much simple, right? Okay. So let me go to the stuff. Notations. Class notation is Python 6. Review dot slash images slash Python 6.png. Okay. So basic class diagram. That is Python 7. Okay, or class diagram, let me not call it as a basic class diagram for library. Now, okay, so in the last class I've asked you to basically create a class diagram for this. A bank has a savings account, fixed deposit account, recurring deposit account, loan account, right? And a bank manager or account will search it in account console, and customers will be able to see the account balance and all of that stuff, right? So for this, shall we try to come up with the classes? What are the different classes which we can think of in this? If I have to basically look at this account, a bank has accounts, and accounts are of different types. Do you agree with me on that? Okay. Let's try to come up with class diagram. Okay. So narrowing down on classes. Bank has accounts, and accounts are of different types. Do you agree with me on this, or is there any? Yeah. So now what I'll be doing is I will create a bank account. Okay, class. So let me go into Visual Paradigm and say that I want to create a new one, and I'm interested in class diagrams. Okay, right. The first class which I want to represent over here is bank account. Every bank account will have some attributes. What are they? Okay, it will have account number. Do you agree with me? Right? So it will have some account balance. Right? Every bank account is generally linked to a customer. Do you agree with me on that? Okay. So, all right. So let me add this. Add a class over here, right? Which I'll call as customer. Every customer will have name, right? Some phone number. So these days banks are also expecting an email address. So let me add an email address. Okay. And what else will customer have? He will have an address. Address can be one more class, but right now let us not worry about it. Now, bank account. Okay, 1 minute, sir. Let me try to make both of them at the same level so that the arrows look good. Okay, so bank account will contain. Okay, bank account will contain, right? Customer. Every bank account has a customer. Yes or no? Yes. Right. So I'm not getting into photos and all of that stuff. I'm just drawing some basic stuff. Right. Now I have an account which is called as savings account. Right. So savings account is basically generalized version of it. It is inheritance. Oh, sorry. Yes or no? Right. Now savings account, let me have a bank account also. In bank account I have some operations also. Every bank account will have, what are the operations which bank account has? Deposit amount. Every bank account also might have withdraw amount, but withdraw amount I don't want to draw it over here because some banks might not allow you to basically do it. Okay, right. Now savings account. Savings account will definitely have a withdraw operation, right? So I'm adding withdraw underscore amount. I'm just writing basic stuff. So you can basically try to add more information to it. So for example, all of your different stuffs, right? And every account also, every account, what will it have? All right. Will it not have transactions? Every bank account, will it not have transactions? Yes or no, sir? Right? Okay, fine. Now, let me draw different kinds of accounts. So savings account. Okay. I'll be writing at RD account. RD account is recurring deposits account. Okay. In recurring deposits amount account, what you would have is, right? You would have, okay, this is also generalization. And in recurring deposits account, you would have an operation or attribute, okay, which is term. Okay. For how much term you would be doing this recurring deposits? Okay. Right. And recurring deposits will have one operation which is called as premature withdraw. Yes or no? Right. And then we would have one more operation which is, okay, once your RD's period is over, then you can do it. Okay. Right. So similarly, you can add fixed deposits and all of that stuff. Okay. And every bank account, generally, whenever we basically work on bank account, what happens? We will have transaction. Yes or no? So every deposit which you do basically will have a transaction, and every transaction will have an attribute which is ID. Every transaction will have an attribute which is from underscore account. Okay. Every transaction will have an attribute which is to underscore account. Every transaction will have an attribute which is amount. Every transaction will have an attribute which is time of transfer. Right? Now, bank account will have, right? Whenever you look into this, it will have an association, and this association is, okay, for one bank account you will have multiple, right? Let me not do this. Let me not do this, because the problem is it is, okay. Let me try to do it from here, or let me try to put the transaction over here. Okay, right. Now every bank account will have, okay, oh, no, I want to put it over here. Generalization with, here we will be having star. Okay, and let me remove this. Generalization. No, it is going to here itself. These are all tool difficulties, sir. I can't help it out. No. Right. Oh man, this is eating up too much of time. Right. Generalization. Okay. All right. Good. This is generalization. And over here, one bank account has many transactions. Okay. And if you look into transaction has a composition relationship also. Every transaction has a from account and a to account. But there is no need for you to be worried about that. There is no need for you to be worried about that. So did I draw the basic structure? All right. So I'm not writing this stuff since I've spoken about it. I'm directly drawing the notes over here. Python 8. Okay, sir. So can you draw basic class diagrams now? Yeah. Now the next diagram which I'm going to speak about is use case diagram. Okay. Use case diagram. And let me call it as class diagram. I'll not be getting into other diagrams, but let us try to basically, right? So why do I draw a use case diagram? This is used to capture, okay, the dynamic aspects of systems. All right. So basically, use cases are generally considered as very high level requirements, right? So use cases have following components, right? So use cases have actors. Okay. So actors is who are going to use your system, right? So and then we would basically have a right functionalities, and then we will basically have some sort of functionalities, right? So use case, a customer will go to the ATM machine and then he would try to do some sort of activity, right? So let us try to basically draw a use case diagram for an ATM machine, bank ATM. I am quite sure everyone might have used a bank ATM, right? Okay. Or have you never done that? Okay. Right. So it is very simple. Okay. Use cases represent high level activities, right? So let's draw a use case diagram for bank ATM, right? Okay. So whenever you are working with bank ATMs, how many kinds of users will we have? How many kinds of users will we have in the bank ATMs? Only one user. Okay. What are the types of users which you will have in the banks? One type of user, that's it. Only withdrawing, then who will deposit? Right? So here, if you understand it correctly, right? So we have, okay, Three types of users. Okay. The first user is customer. The second basic user is, okay, I'm calling him as an admin. Okay. So admin is a person who deposits the amounts and all. Let me not call it as admin. Let me call it as cashier. Okay. And then into the ATM, we will also have admin. Okay. So we also have, right? We also have basically one more actor, right? So let me not bank cashier represents the bank. Let me stop it at that. Okay. Let me not make it more complicated than this, right? So, right. So customer uses ATM for what? Checking balances, deposit funds, withdraw funds. Deposit funds is very rarely seen, but that's okay, right? So what will cashier do? Cashier will deposit amount into ATM. Admin or technician. Okay, right. So what will admin or technician do? He will do maintenance or he might repair your system. Do you agree with me on this? Is this very difficult to do this? No, right? For every system, can we come up with something like this? Yes or no? For every system, can we come up with something like this? Yeah, right. Now let us try to draw a UML diagram. File, new, and I'm interested in use case, right? So where is use case? The research, okay. Okay. Okay, there is a template. I don't like templates. I want everything from blank. Let me remove all of this. Right. So first we have a system, and this system is nothing but your bank ATM. Okay. So in bank ATM, you have use cases. What are your use cases? Okay. Balance check. Right. You have deposit funds. And then you have withdraw funds. Okay. So don't get me wrong with the structures. You can be artistic over here. I am not basically trying to do that because I'm not really good at that. Okay. So and then okay, deposit cash. Yes or no? Deposit cash, and then I will basically write one use case which is maintenance. Okay, you can also write repair, but I am not doing that. Okay. So here, if you basically look at it, we have customer. And what will customer do? Customer will do balance check, right? Customer will do deposit funds, right? And customer will do withdraw funds. Yeah, and all of this will end up, okay, in one more actor over here will be involved, and this actor is bank. Yes or no? So for bank, all of the operations will be involved. So whether you draw this or don't draw this, it really doesn't make any difference. Okay. So let it be any operation, it will basically go and have a relationship with a bank. Okay, right. So we have a customer, and then we have one more actor, which is a bank. Then I have one more actor, right, who is cashier. And cashier has only one operation. He will deposit cash. All right. Now let me draw one more actor over here, right? This actor is technician. And what is technician responsible for? Technician is responsible for maintenance of the system. Okay. So whenever you are designing any systems, okay, right, your initial systems, high level requirements are drawn as use case diagrams, right? But it is a very simple. It might not tell basically what are classes, what are objects, but it will try to tell about your system. So for example, right, I am using a mobile app, right? Initially, before I even start designing the mobile app, I will try to draw use case diagrams, right? So for my mobile app, which I am going to come up with, there will be two kinds of users. One will be the seller, the other one will be the buyer. So you can draw the whole use case of basically something like eBay, something like OLX. Yeah, it is very simple to draw. Am I clear on this, sir? Are these things difficult to do? Okay, as a developer, whenever you develop a system, do you think it will add a value, or will it make a difference if we are able to represent our system something like this? Yes or no? Will it or will it not add a value? Okay, so in your documentation, rather than basically telling thousands of things, it is, oh, what is this relationship? All right, withdraw funds over here and this, right? So rather than writing thousands of things, right, in your documentation, it is very much simple for you to draw these diagrams, because each diagram tells 1,000 words. Okay, so initially you will start with use case diagrams, then according to these use cases you will come up with different diagrams, right? So use case is very high level, right, when you start up thinking about a system. Okay, right. So now can you draw a class diagram and a use case diagram at least in UML? Or do we need a special skills for this? Do you agree that it is not that difficult? But when you look at these terms, right, when you look at these terms, they try to frighten you, but they are very simple. They are very simple. Okay, so when you basically can represent a relationship between your classes in is a or has a statements, in is a or has a statements, right, it is very easy for you to draw class diagrams. It is very easy for you to draw class diagrams. Okay, sir. So let me stop it at that, and we'll be continuing our discussion tomorrow, where we will try to understand what are objects in Python, what are classes in Python, what is an object, right? What are the different kinds of things which Python has, right? And in Python, how do I basically write something like this, right? This is design, but reality is coding, right? So we'll slowly get into that. Okay, fine, sir. So that's what I had for the day, and then we will be basically continuing it in our next steps.
Thanks for watching. For more videos, subscribe our channel and click on bell icon.